On this episode of Open Homes, an architectural masterpiece with stunning views.
I don't quite know which way to look.
We get a special tour of Ronnie and George's house from the Block 2021.
This feels like a really nice vibe in here. It's really calming.
Dave goes tropical in Toorak. And at the climax of the show, the ultimate beach house in the ultimate location.
What I love most about the facade is it's quite unpretentious. It's not saying, look at me. Instead, it's saying, look at the view I've got behind me.
Come with us as we step inside. First up, we're in Seaforth, overlooking Sydney's Middle Harbour. Hold on to your seats. This place has views you'd kill for.
The house we're about to look at has these beautiful views, but a sloping site does come with some issues. Luckily, however, clients with vision, combined with a builder with passion, can achieve amazing results. You are going to love this house. Well, I've got to say, mate, the minute I walk in, I don't quite know which way to look. You've got an amazing view out there that sort of demands attention, but architecturally, this is such an interesting view. Tell us about this home.
Oh, where do you start? The view is second to none. However, you're drawn to the architecture, you're drawn to the build, to the elements involved.
The minute I walked in the room, my head went up. It's like some beautiful sculptural artwork that you've created here. I can only look at this and imagine the amount of work and engineering that's gone into it.
The architects wanted to bring in the vault of the roof to filter in with the surrounds. And yeah, so we researched products, found products like Sarnafeld for the roof. We used plywood jigs to form the roof, billboard sheeting, and then obviously the beautiful glue lamps, which are fixed to the steel portal and tied in with a concrete ring beam.
When we first bought it, it was a bit of a shock. The view was just unbelievable. And then as we lived in it for a while, we just realised that the house it wasn't doing justice to where we were. And the way that it was put together meant there were so many structural issues that it would be better to knock it down and start again.
What's amazing about this site is 180-degree views of Middle Harbour that are just absolutely stunning. So we really wanted to capture that and make the most of it from as many rooms as possible, and to create something that was as stunning as the landscape that we sat within.
The room is basically an elongated cube. It's natural that this whole wall is glass because of those amazing views, but it had to be balanced by that end of the room. I think balance is so important. It's been done beautifully by this cabinetry. Talk us through what's happened over there.
Yeah, so it's interesting. This room, we consulted with the architects, the clients and the joiner, how we're going to create this space to give an open feel. And then you walk through the hallway, past the wardrobe, into a beautiful ensuite.
Yeah, well, I've already stuck my head in there and I think it's got the same view from that bath. I'd find it hard to get out of bed and leave to work. At least I could drag myself to have a bath. There's a common line that I say a lot, and it sounds cliche, but it's so important, but the kitchen is the heart of the home. And here it's right in the centre, with glass on either side because of that beautiful niche. I love the mixture of finishes. On the other side, I do love it. It's got a mixture of stainless steel, wall ovens. I think it's a great mixture of finishes because it's almost slightly commercial, which can be cold, and yet it still feels warm because of the tone in the cabinetry and those dark finishes. I love this staircase design. It's actually very subtle, but an important sculptural element of the home. By law in Australia, you have to have one continuous handrail all the way around, and this has been achieved beautifully by attaching it to the side wall. But this thin wall is actually also the baluster on the staircase. It becomes a structural element of the home. It's strong and bold, and yet it feels light and bright, and it's beautiful to touch. So, David, obviously this view and this swimming pool just beckons you to leave the amazing house. But the minute we get here, it's easy to turn around and stop looking this way and look that way, because the back of the house is almost as impressive, if not more, than the front.
Yes, definitely. The architecture involved there and the build, it's just, like you said, it's just so easy to look back and just admire it.
Up next, a special tour of Ronnie and George's house from the block 2021.
There are so many features in here that people are going to draw from and inspire them to put into their own house, which is what the block is all about.
Next, we head to Bronte Court in Hampton for a special tour of this year's most winning house from the block 2021. And we get an insider's perspective with ex-Blocks legends Beck and Jessie.
Beck, I know it's been a while, but welcome back to the block.
Well, let me tell you, Jessie, I'm happy to be here as a guest and not a contestant. I look back at that time as one of the best and worst times in my life. It was pretty traumatic, but I am excited to see Ronnie and George's house. I have to say they are one of my favourite contestants of the whole series, really. I really love George's style, so I'm excited to see what they've produced in their house this year.
Well, George, I remember the first one that she did it in Elsternwick. She had a very dark and moody colour palette. And then this one has been much more refined and on trend. It's very light, it's bright, lots of timber grains, which is much more my style. And I'm loving this facade. It's like a very contemporary American barn.
I do like the facade, but I have to say, as a Bayside girl, I'm kind of questioning whether it fits kind of the area, but what you're saying is going to be inside does sound very Bayside, so let's just see. It took me a while to take it in, I'll be honest, all the architecture and the lines, but I think I'm feeling it. I do like it.
So Beck, obviously we had that super contemporary facade. Do you feel as though the interior has done it justice?
I do. This feels like a really nice vibe in here. It's really calming, but I feel really comfortable in here. It's a very beautiful palette, and this dramatic rake in the ceiling is really creating such a volume in here, but it really is just drawing my eye to every aspect. Like, there's just so much to look at and take in.
And I feel as though the block is about showing the general public what you can do. It's not supposed to be cookie cutter. And this, like you said, with the rake ceiling, there are so many features in here that people are going to draw from and inspire them to put into their own house, which is what the block is all about.
Oh, 100%. And I also feel like they've done a really good job at balancing all of those aspects. So, you know, you've got detail in that shaker profile in the kitchen. They've introduced that warm coastal timber in there. They've tied that back to the beautiful herringbone floor. That staircase is amazing. And when you walk in, it's one of the first things you see. I have to say though, you can tell that they've done it before.
Absolutely,
they're experienced.
yes.
I feel like there's not much wrong here, and I think that speaks volumes of what their experience is. Not just doing the block twice, but they clearly know what they're doing. I do love that beautiful loft area at the top there too. I think that's a great space, again with kids, a separate living zone. So it really works. Again, they've just really thought about it and they've done a fantastic job. I should also comment on the lighting. That's something that I noticed straight away. So walking in that hallway, the whole ceiling is the skylights. So, you know, when you're walking in, they've got the track lighting that's directional. They've got feature lighting in all the right places. This beautiful pendant over here, but still got all your task lighting. I feel like they've really thought about that too. With all of this natural light flooding in, you've got to think of how this would look at night, and all of the lighting placement is going to really create a beautiful mood in here. So I think they've really nailed that. When considering features in your new build or renovation, you should always start by looking at the external architecture and how you can bring some of those features inside. What Ronnie and Georgia have done really well here is they've taken those linear lines and the points in the gable outside and brought them in. This creates beautiful volume and interest internally.
Beck, this is a very interesting room because I'm not sure how you feel about it. Well, why don't you tell me how you feel about it first, and then I'll tell you how they went with the judging.
Well, I actually really like it. I feel like it's a nice earthy space. I do love that they've used that same paneling in here that they've done in the lounge area. I love the colour. I feel like all of the layers and textures on the bed work. I love this chair, the art. Like, it's all speaking to me. I feel like it's a really beautiful, well-considered space. Again, they've got the amazing rake in that ceiling and the V-Lux. I feel like I can't really fault it.
Well, they've done an exceptionally good job. They continued the brass as well throughout. The walk-in robe is absolutely stunning now. It didn't always used to be. So when they did the room originally, the walk-in robe was half the size. So the judges walked in here and thought, this is the biggest master room in block history. It's got 6-metre ceilings. It's like the size of most living rooms. And then they couldn't even fit 2 people in the walk-in robe.
Okay.
And so had they have done the walk-in robe, they would have shooed in the win. However, they ended up coming, I think it was 4th.
Right.
With this room, which is surprising, but there were 2 rooms being judged. Yeah. But overall, I think the judges all agreed that this was probably the best master bedroom, but it didn't win that week.
The master ensuite, they've nailed as well. I love that they've used that 5-finger tile, the Kit Kat one from Beaumont's. I've actually used those before in that denim colour. It looks really beautiful with brass. And they've paired it back with those large format grey tiles. So they've remained consistent with their bathrooms, which has changed up the colours.
That Kit Kat tile is on my mood board already, like waiting at home, ready to start the renovation, so I absolutely love it. And I like how they're not perfect around the edges with the colour.
It's got a bit of character.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Well, I am really impressed with the whole house. I feel like they have really nailed it. I can't fault anything from the bathroom to that main living space, the theatre room, this master suite. I really love it all. I think that it's got a beautiful reflection of their style, and I think that they've nailed it with the area. From a real estate perspective, I'm no real estate agent, but I feel like it does kind of reflect the area.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've ticked every box in what the modern family, particularly in Victoria now, is looking for. They've got multiple living areas, sitting room downstairs with the wine room and the theatre room. They've got the study off the mudroom overlooking the pool, being the home office. They've got the second home office upstairs or the den. They really have thought about the way that people are living nowadays, working from home, and it just feels so good overall. I don't think anything's been overlooked and everything's come together really well.
Next, we head to Toorak, Melbourne to check in with Dave Franklin.
So the brief was, when I got this, was tropical it up, and tropical it up we did. It was definitely one of the first jobs that we did when we started Franklin Landscapes. I was absolutely stoked that Dan gave me the opportunity to give the design to him, and because he owns a nursery, well, the budget on plants, I had none. In Toorak, you're allowed to do what you like on the nature strips, apparently. So yes, we do have steppers, we have little bits of garden, and we also got the urban turf nature strip. You walk through this place, there's a lot of space, as you can see here. We've got the Canary Island palm here, we've got all the cycads. It's a very layered garden. There are a couple of trees that were already here, which are the ficus hilli, which are right behind me. We also have the box hedge here, and that's the classy part. But the real hero here are the palms behind me. So Dan, I hate to say it about him, he is a little bit quirky here, but I love the part about this, and he did say to me, he goes, look, let's drill some holes and put some succulents in there. I haven't been here for 8 years, and I'm looking around at the moment. They're still trying to grow, but what a good idea. It is a big property, so there is a fair bit of hardscape as well, but we have done that with mixtures, and that's why we've done the stepping stones, and then we have the central water features. Again, we have a lot of small mondo grass as well, and that just softens all the edges as well at the same time. The landscape construction on this one here would have been about 3 months to 4 months. Dan's probably going to say 6, but I'm going to say 3. Talk about tropical gardens, talk about layered gardens. Well, this has got it all. Look at this garden right here. Not only does it have one of my favourite trees, the Kentia palm that's hanging over the pool here. This is probably the most expensive palm that you're going to get. You can buy a palm like a bungalow for maybe 2-3 metres tall, $100. 2-3 metres tall for one of these, you're talking $3,000. but that is definitely a go-to palm for me. We've also got Phoenix Rubellini right next to me. We've got Monstera, we've got Xanadu, we've got Clivia sitting over here, we've got the Washington cotton palms, and to finish it off, your classic bird of paradise. I can keep going on, but this show doesn't go long enough. Let's be honest here, I actually did not design the pool. Dan did this himself, and I've got to say, this was done 8 years ago, and then back then they said it was a horizon edge. We call it negative edge. So you can imagine at night time here, you're seeing this beautiful water flowing over the edge, and you've got all the plants that are hanging over the top of it. Mate, talk Bali, talk overseas. This is what this pool gives you. Not only do you have the pool area here, but they have got a covered area just over there that spills out from the house. Another thing that we did add in here is these patches of grass that we've got over here. It does get a lot of northwestern sun in the afternoon here, and it's really hot for the paving, and it gets really bright. So putting the turf in here, I think really gets rid of all of that. He does have a charcoal cooker just hidden in behind the palms over there. This was one of the first before everyone was buying eggs and doing charcoal grilling and all that. He was ahead of the game. But it looks like he hasn't used it for a while because the plants have grown over it. So time for a bit of maintenance there, Dan. Look, again, you could have wedding receptions here. This area is massive. So if you want 21st, 40th, 50th, you know, you can do it here. Mate, it just keeps on giving.
After the break, we can finally reveal this home on Minjerribah, North Stradbroke Island. Now we can finally reveal this house in one of Australia's most spectacular coastal destinations.
For me, holidays are all about the sand, surf, daytime napping, and of course, the daily ice cream. My favourite place to holiday is here in North Stradbroke Island. The house you're about to see is designed by Brisbane architect Paul Butterworth. Paul has designed a house that not only looks the part, but also functions exactly how a holiday house should. Well, Paul, full disclosure on this, I've actually been stalking this house on social media quite a bit, so I'm really excited about this tour. And I've got to say, that façade already hasn't let me down.
It's pretty special, and we're pretty happy with it. I mean, it's an amazing spot. It's an amazing place in general.
What I love most about the façade is it's quite unpretentious. It's not saying, look at me. Instead, it's saying, look at the view I've got behind me.
You know, to us, when you're working in a place like this, it's important not to be too shouty, you know, and not to dominate the landscape or stick out too much in the street. We want to be a little bit quiet, a little bit low-key, because that's the vibe of the place. So we're trying to fit in and work with the context of the environment, and so quietening it down a little bit is certainly part of that.
Okay, so what was the design brief?
Essentially, our clients were part of a close-knit, large family group, so it had to accommodate all comers when it needed to. Low maintenance, durable, you know, quiet and humble from the street, and to fit into its natural environment as well, and just be an all-round entertainer and comfortable beach house.
In terms of design, is there much difference between designing for a holiday home or someone's forever home, I guess? I mean, already I can see a series of opening and closing doors to create different spaces.
Yeah, look, they're very different briefs. They have very different performance criteria, and generally speaking, a whole different series of rituals and routines that go around living on the coast or living at the beach that don't occur and aren't needed back in suburban life, for example.
Yeah, so I guess a home such as this one, you would want to create sort of like those bunk houses where everyone can come in. You want to sort of use hardy materials where kids can walk sand through the house, etc.
Yeah, there's this strange duality where it has to be suitable for just a romantic couples retreat, you know, on the quiet, but also when, you know, the whole clan comes to visit, you know, you can accommodate everyone and everyone just sort of bunks in and gathers around, you know, the kitchen or the fire and has a really good time. So it has to do both. I'm
loving this particular breezeway here at the moment. You know, you've got views from the street all the way through the house to, to the hero.
Yeah, this is a really important space. It's also a set of lungs for the house as well to flush, fresh air through the rest of the house. There are sliding panels at either end and even in the middle to control the flexibility of how it's used. So at one point it can be sort of a second living rumpus for a whole bunch of kids to come in here and watch a kids movie while all the adults are upstairs. Or it can be closed off and it becomes extra sleeping, and we can lay out the stretchers, or people can sleep here quite comfortably and be private from the rest of the house. It does a whole bunch of things that are really important to make it useful and earn its keep.
And I think for me, what gives you that really island living is those indoor-outdoor bathrooms.
Yeah, it's a nice little sort of trick, if you like, to just slide a big panel back and, brush your teeth in the landscape or have a shower or bath with the landscape, because part of the charm of being over here is really connecting to an environment that one is not normally exposed to.
Well, Paul, it's quite obvious that part of the design brief was to capture that amazing view, and you've done it with this whole wall being glass, but that's quite complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it's definitely a balancing act because we are in a very exposed environment and it's a bit windy. So we've got a lot of structural juggling to do to hold it all up for a start and stop it, raking backwards and forwards. The view is obviously the hero and the star of the show here, and the landscape as well. So we need to get access to that, but also try and get a number of different ways to get access to that. So sitting here on a deck, for example, is a very pleasant experience. But there's also another experience that we can get by taking the glass all the way to the floor and really capturing that view.
You talk about how the architecture is very discreet. It doesn't get much more discreet than that master bed, does it?
No, it's a good spot. And again, if you're the one paying for it all, you kind of want to get a bit of bang for your buck. It's a very different experience, again, from being in that master suite and looking at it's the same view, but it's slightly different. So it's a special experience just for the owners. It's a nice way of looking at the same thing from a slightly different angle and getting a very unique experience.
I mean, even just sitting here now, we've got, that amazing sea breeze coming through. We're in the morning sun. How has that impacted the design?
Yeah, working with the natural environment's really important to us, but also having a very comfortable house as well to be and to live in is really important too. We've got a long, narrow floor plan, so the breezes come up the hill off the ocean. We've got windows both sides of the living areas, and it just flushes fresh air through the house. Keeps it nice and cool, gives a breeze. It makes it very comfortable. We've also got a lot of thermal mass on the ground floor. We've got a polished concrete slab which borrows the thermal stability of the ground that it sits on. Again, there's just a whole lot of things that are packed into this house that were really designed not to be noticed. There's lots of solar panels on the roof. There's 10,000 litre water tank buried under the lawn terrace where the fire pit is. There's just so many things that we've really put into this house that really tick a lot of boxes.
All right, Paul, well, thanks for showing us through today. I always enjoy talking to you. You've got such a passion for design and it's infectious, so thanks again.
I appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for watching. We hope you found some inspiration looking through these incredible homes and gardens. We certainly have. For more on the homes and behind the scenes, check out our Instagram and Facebook. See you next time for more Open Homes.